David. Hey, first of all, so I don't forget the most important thing right here is David is really amazing. He does this for us every week at church and for Family Life Forum and many other events, and let's just give him a big hand. Thank you, David. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd like to thank you all for coming out today for Family Life Forum. It's a blessing to have you here. Our presentation today is by a return. Wonderful Dr. Gurinder Bains Singh. And so I want to thank him for being here today. And our topic for today is healthy aging wellness strategies. Need I say more? We all need that. Dr. Gurinder Singh Bains, and I was, trying to track him down actually, and I thought your last name was Singh.
His middle name.
I know, it's his middle name. So I know another Dr. Singh, and maybe his name, he has another name too, but I thought maybe it was the same one, but it's not. So, and Helen knew you for years down at Loma Linda. Yeah, so she couldn't be here today.
Okay.
But Dr. Gurinder Singh Bains is a professor and program director at Loma Linda University. He holds a PhD from LLU and an MD from Ross University and BSc from University of Illinois in finance. His research covers topics like intermittent fasting and inflammation. He has presented at scientific meetings, and his work has been featured on ABC, CNN, Fox, and the Ellen DeGeneres Show. I want to thank Gurinder for being here today. Let's give him a hand ahead of time.
You haven't even heard it yet, you're clapping.
Yeah, and let's bow our heads for prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this absolutely beautiful, incredible Sabbath day. Thank you that Dr. Gurinder Singh Bains, Dr. Bains is here with us today. We can call him Dr. Gurinder. You like that, right?
Dr. Bains is fine.
Dr. Bains. Oh, he likes Bains better. Okay. Well, thank you that he's here with us today and help us to be blessed by his presentation. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay, it's all yours.
Okay. You'll be with the mic, right? Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. As Joyce said, today's topic is healthy aging wellness strategies. So I'm going to do this a different way this time. I teach with students, and, when I was a student, I never wanted to sit in class for hours listening to the professor with the PowerPoint lecture. So I decided no PowerPoint today, no slides, nothing. Now you can save, there's no pictures for today. So how we're going to do this today, it's going to be interactive. I'm going to talk with you. You guys are going to talk with each other. We're going to discuss. That's how we're all going to learn. Instead of me just throwing things at you, do this, do that, we're going to find out what works and what doesn't work with all of you, okay? So it's going to be a new way to learn, all right? So
I'm going to get my steps in.
Yes. So I'm just going to ask questions, and what we'll do with those questions is we'll have more than one person answer the questions, and we can discuss them. And if you have questions, you can ask the questions to the person who just gave an answer. And that's how we're going to learn today, okay? Let's try that out for today. All right, first question. What is one thing you hope to learn or take away from this presentation today? Knowing that the title is Healthy Aging Wellness Strategies, is there anything specific?
To grow older and healthier and functional.
Yes, we all want to grow older, healthier, and being functional. That's the key word, be functional.
Okay, don't all talk at once. Oh, here.
I'd like to say that, the functional part, like still be able to move and things like that, because that's something, I'm 26, but I still think about that. I think about hopefully I'm still moving and all of that. So moving,
staying healthy and in physical shape because the family is so active. So if I wanna, be with them, I need to be in good shape.
I'd like you to speak on the role of positive mental attitude and thinking in preventing and dealing with disease and ill health.
Maintaining muscle strength.
Okay, great. So I see a majority of the answers are more physical related, functional.
Dementia.
Right, okay. All right. All right, so I think I have so many questions. So I think after this first,
I was diagnosed with advanced aggressive cancer about 16 years ago. And some of us still stand under that diagnosis, as I do. We're still alive, but always wondering how I can do better, and stay alive.
Ask me.
great. Okay, so those are some great answers. My next question then is, what's the first word that comes to your mind when you hear the word wellness? Just give me one word. Okay, we have health, healthy, vitality.
Peace.
Sorry?
Peace.
Peace. Okay, peace.
I can't get to you guys that fast. I'm not allowed to.
I think we're loud enough that we could probably talk. Yeah, we're loud enough that we could probably talk without the mic. Okay.
She said strength.
Strength. Okay. What type of strength? Physical strength, mental strength? Physical and mental strength. Great. Okay. So,
I will just say loud. Word wellness means for me health in mind, spirit, and body.
okay, perfect. All right.
I have a question of David. Do we need to have everybody speak into the mic?
If you want to be picked up on screen.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we can't call out.
Okay, so let's do this. Every question that I ask, because I have so many questions, we'll just get two people to answer.
Okay.
Because then we'll go to the next question. Well, we don't want the same people to always answer. Let's incorporate the whole room. Everybody gets a chance to share their thoughts, okay? Because if we have everyone answer for every question, we won't even get past my first page. We'll be here an hour and a half just on the introduction. Okay. All right. Next question. To you, individually, what do you consider a healthy person looks like? He's doing jumping jacks back there. What is a healthy person? What do you think a healthy person looks like? Okay.
Playful, joyful.
Microphone.
I'm not sure.
A healthy person looks like he listens very well. He sees eye to eye and makes sure that he's with the person that you're conversing with. He does his responsibility or my responsibility on a daily basis based on the family needs and the community she lives in.
But does that make the person healthy?
There are many ways. Prayers, communication with the community and family. That's how I see it, anyway.
Do you remember what you just said?
Your question again is what makes me?
Do you consider a healthy person looks like?
Makes me smile, makes me feel good.
So somebody who smiles is healthy.
Not just, it's an energy that I feel.
But what?
I feel at ease and feel at peace and good being with.
Okay. And I think we have one more.
Well, healthy, I would say, depends on your age. There's different health depending on your age. And, like, I'm thinking of myself at 25 versus now.
Right.
And my kids, I see my kids that are healthy, but even though they appear healthy, there's also different issues. What's my daughter, what she has?
Men- uh,
I have a daughter that's very healthy, very active, but she has an issue with MS, it's called the word?
MS, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, but she's not showing any signs of that now, but I don't know what.
Because, you know, it's not just the physical appearance somebody's healthy too. Like you said, there's internal issues too. You know, someone can be depressed, right? There's the mental issues too. Then there's spiritual. How are they acting spiritually? How is their nutrition status, right? You know, how are they in the community? You know, just because somebody goes to the gym and exercises and looks great, there's so many more components to someone being a healthy person. So just, you know, visually you could see someone and say, oh, he looks healthy or she looks healthy, but you don't know what's going on inside them too, right? So always keep that in mind too, okay?
Tell us, in your opinion, what does a healthy person look like?
I think there's no such one answer. It's because, you know, physically you can be healthy. You know, your weight is good. You're not overweight. You know, because if you're overweight, that leads to a lot of other diseases and conditions. You know, but then just because a lot of these people who I know go to the gym, they're in there because they're depressed. They broke up with their boyfriend or their girlfriend. You know, they're trying to relieve stress. They have a stressful life. So just because the outward appearance looks healthy doesn't mean the inward appearance looks healthy. For me, I can't give one answer to what a healthy person looks like, right? And I think nobody's perfect, so we all have something going on in our lives, right? Right.
So raise your hand when you want to speak, and I'll bring the mic.
Okay, next question.
Start talking.
When you think about an elderly person in your life, okay, what concerns do you have? What wellness concerns come to you first? And then, is anybody here like a caregiver or has someone that they know that's elderly that does need taken care of? Like, what are some of the concerns you have for those individuals? Okay, so I'll say it again. When you think about an elderly person in your life, if you know somebody who's elderly, what are some of your wellness concerns? You know how we talked about physical activity, the mental aspect, spiritual. Do you have any thoughts of that person?
My first thought is safety concerns, issues that might come into play as they try to function on their own, doing just normal activities of daily living, you know, things in the environment that could pose hazards to them. Maybe them just trying to be a little overambitious in what they try to do, which might be a little bit beyond their capability.
Yes, that's a great answer because when you get older, movement becomes an issue. Also, balance becomes an issue. Falls become an issue, right? So this is how I envision this: is when someone gives an answer, everyone else should incorporate that into themselves and be like, you know what, that's a great answer because now I know somebody who's elderly. I should be worried maybe about, you know, how is their environment at home? You know, are there a lot of stairs? Or there's things that they could slip on? You know, how's their balance? How's their mobility? How's their functionality? Right. Okay. We have
I think about like my grandma who's in hospice. She's like getting more tired and more irritable, and yeah, the mobility stuff that was already mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so one last question in the introduction.
You know, you was talking about that. I live by myself, and I'm a senior right now. So that's what my thing is. You know, don't do things fast. You know, when I walking up the stairs, hold the rail. When I coming down, hold the rail before you slide down or you run upstairs now. You know, things like that. So
Yeah, and not even just holding the rail. Make sure your foot is on the step. You know, so many times you're like, oh my God, my foot could have just easily gone out underneath me and you would have fallen right away.
My first thought and answer to that question is about elderly. I don't have right now personally in our family because both our parents are already deceased. But I go every Sabbath after Lutheran church service to Big Bear Church. And there's lots of elderly people who live there. and already 2 of them fell and broke their hip and all that. And I simply decided to say, you know what, if somebody's over 65, they shouldn't be living on this mountain. It's such a stairs and 3-story building. What do you expect? We are getting older, and they can slip even in a shower. Anybody, any age, can slip and trip and all of that. But when you are in such a hazardous, environment, my first concern is, oh boy, it's just coming day when somebody's going to slip. And it happened just last week. One guy, he was in hospital for Loma Linda for 3 weeks, just came home. So that's my first concern. You know what? Don't go have a house that is flat. Don't have those stairs. And that's my first concern, yeah.
Great. So I think something that we can take away now is to be proactive, right? You know you have friends who are getting up there in the age, or you yourself are getting up there in the age. So plan for that. Make sure, like you were saying, use the railings, Make sure that you have the no slip in the tub where you're not going to slip in the tub. You may be a railing in the tub. So have contacts ready that you can call in case anything happens to you. It's just you're trying to be proactive. All right, last question for the introduction. Does anyone have a personal story about a small change that they made in their health that has made a big difference? Just a small change that they're incorporated into their lifestyle.
Well, I found out that my sugar was 6.4, so I started working out, cut the sugars out, and ate and taking the Adventist way of life, the health life, and it went down to 5.9.
Very nice.
Praise God.
Praise God.
Yeah, and that's just a small change that she made, cognizant for herself, like she's going to try to cut down her sugar. You probably can't cut it all down, but just a little at a time, and she's already seeing the health benefits from there. Anyone else has made any small change in their life that they can see an improvement in their health?
I listen more.
Listen to who? Or what?
To my husband and to my kids.
Okay. Happy life. Right?
This is transforming for me. When I see a problem with my partner or my son or with anybody, my mantra is, who do I have to be given what may be the problem in the moment?
Right.
That's very, very empowering for me.
Very nice. So you want to be part of their solution, right? We got one more.
It concerns stress management, which is a big part of, health. And one thing that I have done is when I face a problem now, instead of, getting all tense and worried about it, I give it over to God. I think that's something I need to do a lot more. But when I do, then I relax, my heart rate, my blood pressure go down, and I don't feel like, the burden's all on me. I feel like, okay, it's going to be up to God, and He can handle it better than I can. And that just gives me peace and just calmness that really does, I think, improve my overall health and stress management.
That's a great answer. So that's one of the takeaways I want you guys to have is when someone shares a strategy, remember this talks about wellness strategies, you can incorporate that same strategy. When you have stress, there's different ways to cope with it. And she reaches to God for her one of her ways to cope with stress. So again, listen to what everyone else has to share because you can use those strategies, listen to their examples, their stories, and incorporate that into your life, okay? All right, so there's different components of this wellness talk that we're going to do today. First one we're going to do is physical wellness, okay? There's benefits of exercise, right? Helps with your weight, helps with disease. It boosts your mood, right? Sometimes if you do physical exercise with other people, it increases your social interactions, right? There's different types of exercise. It's not always let me go to the gym and lift some heavy weights. Okay, a lot of people think that physical wellness just means I'm gonna go spend 30 minutes on a walk. It's what you do the rest of the day that it's important. A lot of people they sit at their desk all day, or they watch TV all day, or they're sitting at home, and they take out 20, 30 minutes for their physical exercise for the day. That's great, but it's what else are you doing the rest of the day that's important for you, okay? And again, the more you exercise, the more you walk, that improves your balance, especially as we get older. Sleep is important. We all know that. We're not going to go into such detail about sleep, but are you staying up all night? Are you on your internet? Are you watching videos? Are you on the phone? Are you watching TV? Are you getting a good night's sleep? If someone's retired, are they up all night? Are they still getting their sleep? These are questions to ask yourself. How is your sleeping environment? Do you have a TV in your bedroom? Are you just staying up all night? Or is your room just made to sleep? Okay? Things to take into consideration. So, what is one small physical activity that you enjoy doing every day? Yeah, what's something that you like to do that's...
Deep breathing. Wait. Do not talk until I give you the mic.
Okay. Deep breathing. 5 breaths in, hold it, and exhale. I do that morning and night. It helps me a lot.
For how many minutes?
Count of 4 seconds or more? Yeah.
Overall,
Count of 4.
5 minutes, few minutes you do this?
I think that's a 1 minute. 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4.
Okay.
And then hold and exhale.
What are some other physical activities that some of you do throughout the day?
Walking for 10 minutes after meals.
Okay, yeah, that helps with your digestion, right? Yes. And then the thing with walking is, once you get good with the 10 minutes of walking, you can always increase it to 15 minutes. When you get good with 15, increase it to 20 minutes. The more steps you take, the healthier you're going to be. And now it's not just your physical health, it's your mental health is going to improve with any type of exercise or walking that you do too.
I do gardening, so as soon as the sun is up, pretty much I go out the door and I water and I walk and I shovel and I dig and I do all kinds of movements that are it's actually recorded on my watch, how much I've walked, how much I've been standing, and then I try to do exercise where I'm moving so I can get my muscles built up, and then I notice that when I get up in the morning, because I do have some pain issues, and I'll go, ow, ooh, ooh, and then I say to myself, don't give in to that. Just hold your head up, hold your shoulders back, and walk, kind of a glide walk.
Right.
And don't give in to this crunched over thing with your head down and your shoulders forward. Stand up and just face the world with a smile on your face.
So yeah, see what Joyce does is she's not going to the gym. Her physical
No.
wellness is at home. She's in her backyard. She's doing her gardening, right?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't have to be, get yourself to the gym every day, 1 hour every
Mariana
day.
does the same thing. We're outside almost literally all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're burning calories all day. Your body's getting the exercise that it needs all day.
And I program my watch to have 8,000 steps. So
Yes.
each time of day I watch, I look at it, oh boy, I need to go another hour. Walk.
Right. That's one of the other things.
Keep walking.
Right. That's one of the other things I was going to bring up
Anybody else?
is technology. With the watches you have, or even your iPhone, or I'm not sure about the other phones, it keeps track.
It does.
It can keep track of your heart rate. It can keep track of your steps that you take, how many calories you're burning. So this technology that we have today was totally going to help. I know my parents, my mom just started using the cell phone and technology and texting and all that. My dad doesn't use it at all, and he's 91. So learn to use technology to your advantage, because there's a lot of health benefits that way, okay? Has anyone tried any specific exercise or activity that's improved their balance? Because we all know balance is important as we get older. Has anyone done anything to help improve their balance?
Well, I got to get back into it. It's been 2 weeks, but body combat, this Les Mills body combat, that's
Okay.
when you're working out like this.
Yeah.
It helps your balance because you're doing all kind of movements
Right.
and turns and twists and kicks.
Yes. So she goes to a place that does like a fitness class, so she does a group setting, or right? Yes.
So if you can't do that, go on YouTube. There's all kinds of everything on there. You can do it right in your living room.
Exactly. Just even squatting at home, learning how to squat in the proper way. Again, YouTube is a great way to learn so many different things, okay? You can learn yoga on YouTube, Tai Chi, you can learn about fixing your balance. There's so many different things on YouTube to learn about. What's a fun way that you found to stay moving, even when you're indoors? When you're indoors, what have you done that's fun for you at home? I know it's easy to just sit on the couch, right? It's easy to sit on the couch, and don't say vacuuming, because that's not fun, but you're still moving around. Joyce?
Who's got the hand up?
That's okay. When you said indoors, I thought about bowling, but then you said at home.
Yes.
So I thought about chasing and playing with my little pups.
There you go.
They have toys, and they love to chase them, so I throw them, and then they don't bring them back all the time, so I have to chase them to get them back. So, that's fun activity, and I don't
Yes.
even think of it as exercise.
Oh, yeah, but your body's moving, so that is a type of physical exercise. Who else do you chase around at the home besides pets? Sorry? No. Grandkids, right? If you have kids or grandkids, they're going to be running around, and you got to make sure they're safe, so you're running around now too. You might get winded, but you're still got to be running around. You're moving, because you want to be able to move for your grandkids, right? They're going to go out pretty soon when they get older, backyard. They want to play baseball or roll around outside. You have to be out there with them. You don't want to be just sitting at home like, I can't go, I'm too tired, right? You want to be part of their life. So that physical wellness is important, okay? How many of you know how to use your watch or your cell phone or the technology? Let's raise some hands here. Okay, so quite a bit, right? And the ones who don't, again, you can go on YouTube or you can ask your friends. Almost everybody has either a smartphone, and a lot of people have those watches now. So even if you don't have the watch, your smartphone can give you so much information, okay? Use technology to your advantage, especially when it concerns wellness. Now this is a tough question, what is one of your barriers that prevent you from improving your physical wellness? A barrier. What's preventing you from it?
A barrier for me, it's I have a long commute to work, so it's like my days are 12-hour days by the time I leave to when I come back. Now the days are still long, so I can still do a little bit, but it's what I have to do. It's a living, so that's what prevents me from doing more activity, to be healthier.
How's your day? How's your job? Are you moving around or are you sitting?
Well, my job is an office work, but I actually do work that I'm not even supposed to do for my own benefit. I work for a shipping company, a packaging company. So then a lot of my customers, like orders of 10, 20 cases, sometimes the operator will not put them on a pallet, and I'll go do it myself. I'll prepare it to ship it. So it's a big warehouse. I do a lot of walking in the warehouse,
Right.
but I do activity at work that even though I don't have to do, but I do it for my own benefit.
Right, very good. And then other things you can do is park your car far away. So that means you have to walk longer to get into your work, right? Take the elevator, take the stairs, different things that you can do to make yourself be a little bit more physically active.
Sometimes scrolling on my phone, I stop and just sitting there, and then it's not good. But also, because I do substitute teaching, so it depends on what kind of shift I pick up. If I'm with high schoolers, it's like, oh, I'm just sitting there. But if I'm with preschoolers, I'm running all over the place after them. So,
Right.
yeah, I guess it's kind of like what is in my day, or if I'm on my phone.
So you brought up a great point. When you're younger, so many, my students are right out of high school. So much of their time is spent on social media. They sit at home and they scroll and they scroll. I've done that. Next thing you know, it's 45 minutes later. What have I just been looking at? It's like, and they know, what's it called? It's called the algorithm. So if you keep looking at one or two things, your phone is going to tell you, here's 10 more things of the same type, right? And so now you're stuck, even on YouTube. Oh, do I really need to watch how a lion kills an alligator 17 times? No, but it sounds interesting. So there goes 30 minutes of my time, right? Social media kills wellness, okay? No, but I mean, you still need it. That's how this is the generation of social media. Even when you get older, sometimes, you get lonely. So let me go on my phone, and then you're scrolling, and then, you fall into that trap.
I'm often called a dinosaur, but this is my health
The flip phone?
strategy. Saves me a lot of time. I avoid all kinds of temptation, and it does what I need it to do. Talk.
Yes. All right, so how many of you drink enough water in a day?
What's enough? 8 glasses?
8 glasses. Some people don't even drink 1 or 2 glasses. They're drinking soda. Right, yes.
I think it depends, kind of when how you set yourself up. If I make sure I get those preschool classes, I'm going to be moving around a lot. But also it's the same thing with water. If I make sure I'm bringing my big blue jug, I don't have it today.
Right.
So I probably had a lot less water today. But if I filled it all the way up and I'm like, okay, that's 2 liters that I have to finish in the day, right? Then I drink enough water. So sometimes I do, and then sometimes I don't.
Right. So you bring up another good point, is that to be prepared. If you have your meals ready for the next day, you're prepared. We'll get into that in a moment. Your water's ready. Even your physical activity. The night before, what am I doing tomorrow? I'm getting up, I'm doing gardening for 2 hours. I'm going to meet my friends. We're going to go for a walk for an hour. You kind of preparing yourself for the next day. Let's hear one more barrier that someone has.
Wait, there was
Go
one more.
ahead, yeah.
Can we back up
I,
here?
I just wanted to tell you that I get really busy at work, so I set an alarm to drink water every hour.
Oh, very good, yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, again, technology is giving you the alarm to drink your water.
I'm going to give an unusual answer. My barrier is usually it's not there, but when it is there, it's this. Mental. I tell my husband, please don't tell me anything after 6 o'clock at evening. But there is good news, very good news, or very bad news. Then when I go to sleep, I'm thinking about it, and I don't have good night's sleep. Otherwise, I have excellent night of sleep. So if I don't have good night's sleep in the morning, I'm fatigued, I am tired, and I can notice that my balance is not good. I better don't exercise so much that day. Then I rest a lot and lay down, and then I scroll, like you said.
Right.
When I am simply mentally, I'm not rested at night. So that's my barrier. The next day, I can't do much activities and lots of exercise if I didn't have good night's sleep.
See, she brings up a great point that she knows what her barrier is. We all know what our barriers are, what prevents us, but she does something about it. That's the key. Like I said, we know our barriers, but are we doing anything about the barriers that we have? How are we overcoming these barriers, right? So she lets her husband know. Don't tell me anything after 6 p.m. That's it. Tell me in the morning or at breakfast, right? Okay. Again, that's the big thing, is know what your barriers are, but try to implement ways to fix those barriers, okay? All right. Next topic we're going to talk, I know a couple people have asked about this, is the cognitive and mental wellness portion of overall wellness, right? You've all heard of you either use it or you lose it, right? Mm-hmm. Right, so what does that mean to you, use it or lose it? Who said yes, they know what use it or lose it means when it comes to mental wellness?
Exercise. If I exercise my legs, they're okay. If I exercise.
Great. How about mental wellness? What does that mean, to use it or to lose it?
Oh, for mental.
Yes.
I know too.
Wait, raise your hand.
Crosswords, all those different things, and also memorizing. like I memorize all the numbers. I try to.
So you're saying for your mind to stay active. If you
Yes.
don't use your mind, you're going to lose it. Use it or lose it, right?
Right.
Okay.
When I go into Winco, you know, the bulk food section, where you have to, you know, write down the number of the bin
Yes.
on there.
Yes.
Sometimes I'll get 4 or 5 different items, and I'll just stare at the bin, and I'll think about what I have, and I'll put them in order. That kind of helps a little
Very
bit.
nice.
And I memorize the numbers. I don't write them on the little tab there, the little
Right.
tie. I memorize them. So I go through all the store and do the rest of my shopping. And then when I get up to the checkout, I challenge myself, you know, to tell the checker, you know, what each item's number is. And that helps to improve my memory, you know, it really does. It challenges me and it stretches me, you know, to not rely on, you know, just convenient means.
Right.
So
that's great. So that's one of her wellness strategies she does for her mental wellness, for remembering things, okay?
If I don't set aside time, like it doesn't have to be every day, but for me to like be at peace, or for me to like, you know, just something, it doesn't even just have to be standing still. It could be anything that I'm like, okay, this is gonna help me be at peace. Then at some point I'm gonna be stressed out because I'm just going and going, and then yeah, so
Great, you brought up stress, right? So that's part of this mental wellness that we all get stressed, right? But what do we do with that stress? What are different ways to cope when you have stress? So what is a hobby or activity that helps you feel calm and less stressed? What's something you can do? You know, we had earlier, you know, you go to God and then, you know, your stress levels decrease. What else is there?
On a daily basis, I write down the 5 most important things that need to be done. 1, 2, 3 is done. 4 and 5 can wait. But sometimes I get distracted with, you know, records, bookkeeping, cleaning, what else?
So do you feel stressed if you don't do 1, 2, and 3? What if you don't hit your 1, 2, and 3?
No, I make sure I at least have 1, but the most important are the 3.
Okay.
You know, bills and all that stuff.
So you're incorporating your mental wellness and your stress together. You know that, okay, I have these things to do. So you prepare for the day. All right, this is what I'm going to do. You get that done. But that also helps you decrease your stress for the day because you accomplished something. Okay, very good. What are some other ways that you guys have tried to decrease your stress levels, stay calm?
Walking
Walking, great.
outside.
Yes, that totally helps with mood. Remember the talk I did before was on humor and laughter. Watching humorous things. You know, I'm not going to go into the science, but it decreases cortisol, and cortisol is your stress hormone.
Exactly.
You know, anything that can decrease your stress. You know, humor and laughter is a huge part of that. Walking and exercise. Keeping your brain active, yes.
I have learned that if you keep a smile on your face, even if you're not all bubbly happy, that, and I've also read that it releases the good hormones. If you have a smile on your face, if you have a frown on your face, there are negative hormones that come out in your system. So you can fake it,
Right.
and you will feel a lot better. So if you hear bad news, real bad news, you know, just say, you know what, all things work together for good.
And smile.
And smile about it. And, you know, if a friend dies or whatever, you know, that is the circle of life. And
you remember the good things about that person.
remember the good
They lived
things.
a long life. They brought, you know, joy to your life.
Exactly.
You know, it was their time to go. Or you could think negatively. Why him? Why her? You know, but think of the positive way on that, right?
You'll
And
live longer.
How hard is it to smile? How many times have you been at the grocery store? You know nobody there. Everyone's a stranger. Pushing your cart down. Someone smiles at you, smile that back. Or you smile, they'll smile back.
Yes,
You're not
it's
going to
true.
start and have a conversation. It's just a smile, right? So it just helps with your feel-good hormones.
And
okay?
sometimes you will start a conversation and find lifelong friends.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So we talked about mental wellness. Puzzles were brought up. You know, I've heard of you guys, if I'm saying this, Sudoku or Sudoku? You know, that's the number game people use. What are some ways, not for stress, but to keep your mind active, especially when you're getting older in age? You know, when you're younger, you have all these things going on. You know, you have things, you make a list of things to do. That helps with your mental wellness. What are something that you can do to help with your mental wellness? Keep your brain active.
I love crocheting, and it keeps me busy and it relaxes me.
Right. How do we keep your brain active? Crocheting, you're just moving your hands, right? Like you could close your eyes and you know it. Oh, you have to count. Oh, perfect. Oh yeah, there's designs in crochet, right? Okay.
I use the Memrise, MEMRISE, or Duolingo to learn Spanish, Espanol.
Okay, so you're learning a new language.
Yes.
Yes, it's never too late to learn a new language. That will definitely keep your mind active.
Well, now that ProPresenter doesn't work well with PowerPoint, I have to transcribe all the hymnals into Microsoft Word. So, you know, only have 730 left to go.
Right.
Does that make you happy?
So here's a tough question. We all get depressed. We all sometimes are sad. We're all happy. We go through the emotions, right? How many of you feel comfortable talking about your mental health with your friends or family? Or do you just internalize it and keep it to yourself? Do you feel comfortable talking with the people around you who are your closest?
I find that talking to friends and family is beneficial, but not to dwell on the negative. If you look for the positive, that helps.
Great, yes. Again, remember, when we're sharing responses, right, these are the strategies that have worked for some, so incorporate some of these strategies for yourself when these situations arise in your daily life. Who else, does anyone feel comfortable talking with their close family or friends about their mental health? Yes, okay.
Yeah, my son has been diagnosed with mental health problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I have another friend that has the same problem, so we talk a lot openly and learn from each other. And mostly I'm also open to my family, my sisters and brothers.
Right.
And I know some of them says, "Oh, I'm glad you said that. I learned something from it."
Yeah, you can learn something, but one of the biggest things is if you bring up a topic such as mental health, I guarantee you there'll be 3 of your friends or your family members going through the same thing, you know, but they're afraid to talk about it. So now that you've opened up, maybe they open up. And even if they don't open up, they're going to learn from what you're saying. You know, they're going to learn, how are you coping with this? You know, what are your barriers? Or if you're not coping with it at all, they're going to learn about that. They'll be able to help you, but in the same way they're helping themselves too, right? Yes.
Okay.
What would you say there would be signs of like thinking, oh, I think I'm starting to have like a mental problem, or?
You mean like if...
Yeah, because you're saying, you said easy to talk to a friend or family, or,
yeah.
but I mean, what, yeah, is
you know,
there something that?
You could be depressed. You could be, you know, I wish my life was better. I wish I had a better job. I wish I made more money. I wish I was with someone who was fun to be with. You know, my kids aren't being nice to me. My husband or wife's not being nice to me. So you feel sad. You internalize it, right? So those are just the things like, you know, everyone goes through these things, right? Yeah. But then it can get a lot deeper. You know, once it starts affecting your life, you get so depressed, you quit your job, you stay home, you don't exercise, you gain weight. It can just roll and roll and roll into more, the health aspects aren't going to be there.
Okay, go ahead.
Exactly.
I think what you were saying before about being comfortable talking about mental health, I think sometimes There's certain people that I can talk to it about, and there's certain people that I'm like, okay, I don't think so, because there's like a lot of like heavy mentalness in my family. So I have friends that like, oh, they have like, you know, those things in their family too. So I'll be able to talk to them about that. But then there's some people, if I bring those kind of things up, they're like, oh my goodness, that's insane. And so it's just, I guess it depends on the people, right?
And that's the other thing is you don't have to talk to family or friends. You can go to different services in the community. You can come to the church, you know, you can go see professional help. You can go to therapists if you don't want to share with family or friends. But the big thing is for your mental sanity, you should talk about it. I don't always talk about my issues, and I should, but I don't. You know, just because I know what I should do I actually follow it? Not always, right?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's very hard.
Not so much to share, but kind of in a question, can health problems create mental problems on yourself?
Of course.
Because it's like once issues that you're having, temperament can change because of health issues.
Right.
And then that, you know, becomes a problem. So as far as sharing issues, sometimes by sharing, it can explode. By sharing your feelings, you know, as far as the way you see the world versus how the other person sees the world. Right. So sharing our mental problems, it's a challenge.
It's a huge challenge.
With, like you said, not only with family, but also with spiritual brothers and sisters in the faith.
Right. But sometimes that's a challenge, but keeping it inside yourself is a huge challenge because now you're just facing it by yourself. And it, like you said, maybe one day it's just going to explode and it's, you know, for example, you know, people gain weight. You know, they keep it to themselves, like, you know, I wish I should go work out today. Now you feel a little depressed. Now your depression is even more. So what happens when people are depressed? They eat. So now you're in that circle. I'm eating too much, I'm depressed. What I do when I'm depressed, I eat more. You know, so you're in this vicious circle that you're not going to get out of, right?
If I remember correctly, the question was, do you talk to people about your...
Yeah, do you feel comfortable talking to family and friends about any mental health concerns that you have?
I think it really depends on what's going on for me. There's different things that I feel like there's different levels of comfortability with people. And then, but I find that I know I can pray about it all and, you know, talking out loud, and I know that God's hearing me. I think that helps the most at the end of the day because I know He knows how to help me out with my problems. So.
Yeah, the spiritual aspect of that, yes. Okay, we have one more response. Sorry?
Burning question. Why is there such a big stigma against mental illness? It's a hush-hush when you communicate with friends. You know, you don't want to talk about mental illness. Why is that such a big stigma about it?
Because then people, it's just like again, gaining weight. People look at you differently, right? If they know you're depressed or have anxiety, you know, are they going to hang out with you? They just look at you differently. That's how human nature is. You have something that other people don't have or they're not sharing with, so that makes you different. You know, just like when you're growing up, kids get bullied in school for whatever reasons. It continues when you grow older. You know, but the big thing is now with this mental awareness issues coming out, it's over the last 10, 20 years, it's such more apparent to the mainstream, and you know, there's more help available. You know, before it was, like you said, a stigma. Let's say you had depression, you're not going to talk about it, you live your life that way. That's what we were raised with, right? Now there's help. And so you're right, there is a stigma for that. All right, next question. Last one for mental wellness. What's a small act of kindness you've done for yourself to boost your mood? What is something you've done for yourself? Something small, something kind for yourself that helped you boost your mood. It could be you went and got some chocolate, you know, that helped you, you know, that made you feel good, right? Something, or you watched a favorite movie that might have helped you feel good. So what's something, you know, one or two examples that we can learn that helped you boost your mood when you weren't feeling so great?
A month ago, I have this hot rod that has been sitting in my garage for 50 years.
50.
50. And for the first time in quite a long time, I took it out because there's a meeting of hot rod people over in town. And at the last minute, my loving wife asked if she could come with me. She hasn't been any places with me for some time, for different reasons. So there was really an uplifting moment for me to have her with me and go see some of these other people who I've known over the years that we talk about nothing but cars and things, but she was willing to go with me to listen to the mental problems.
Right. Very nice. Okay. Oh, one more.
Music,
Yes.
especially classical and
Yes.
Christian and gospel music.
Yes.
I'm really sentimental, and I save most of the greeting cards that I receive, notes and cards over time, birthday cards, just thinking of you cards, and I have them in a file. What do you call those things?
Folder.
File cabinet.
Yeah.
File cabinet. Remember those?
Yes.
So every now and then I pull them out. Especially this year, I faced a milestone birthday, and I didn't want to get depressed about it. So I pulled out the cards, though, from yesteryears, and all the kind things that people have written, and it really boosted my mood.
So did you guys hear what she said? No. She said that she thought she hit a milestone birthday. She thought she might be depressed when the day's coming soon. So what did she do? She was proactive. So she knew that, hey, you know what? I'm going to go look at my cards. That's going to help me not be depressed on my milestone birthday. So she was already thinking of what can I do. So that don't wait till the situation comes. Be proactive, right? That will help. That was a great response. All right. Let's go to social wellness. When we get older, there's loneliness. Even though you might be with somebody at home, you still might feel lonely, right? Or you might live alone. Always maintain connections. The church is huge for all of you here. You guys come every week. You have family and friends. Especially with technology now, there's Zoom, there's, your iPhone that you can just FaceTime with family and friends. Community events. I'm sure the church gives you different events that can happen with the church or the community. Making new friends. And then again, back to scrolling, social media, that keeps you connected with other people who you used to know or make new friends with. But the thing with social media, don't forget this. When have you seen your family and friends post anything really bad? Hardly ever, right? Everyone's posting their great accomplishments. My life is amazing, my family is amazing, but you don't know what's happening behind closed doors. But then when you're noticing that, you think to yourself, well, why aren't things going good for me? Now you start comparing yourself. Now you get depressed, and then it just, the roly-poly thing that we were talking about, it just rolls and rolls and rolls, right? So how are different ways that you stay in touch with your family and friends? Because not everybody lives down the street. You can't just go to their house.
I just wanted to give you an example of what you were saying about the media. Had a friend, and she was in our country eating something nice. And, oh, it's nice. Are you on vacation? No, well, actually, I'm here because I'm going to get a surgery, and I couldn't afford it in the United States. So there was a totally different, people feel like, oh, she's on vacation again, when she's not.
Right, yeah. So what are different ways that you guys stay in touch with family and friends? Telephone, right. Telephone's an easy one, right.
Sometimes I try to make sure that I plan a trip to go out see my brother, or mostly we just talk to him on video call.
Right.
But like we try to plan an event, like, or something like that in the future.
Planning events, right. So that way you have something to look forward to, right? So the anxiety of life is a little less because, hey, you know, in 2 months I'm going to go see my family, my friends, we have a trip planned. So you kind of look forward to that. That brings the joy in your life, right?
Getting in touch with the college graduates, those who are still alive. There are still quite a few.
Oh, so getting
30 years ago.
Oh, with all your friends who you graduated college with, right? Yes.
Great.
So, friendships, right? Yes. What's the most valuable thing you have with your friends? Like your friendships, what does it mean to you? Not family, friendships. Even though family can be friends, and friends can be family, but what's something valuable that means to you?
Reliability, knowing you can count on them to be there no matter what.
Right.
That's what's most valuable to me about my friendships.
And that's all part of social wellness. Remember, social wellness is part of overall wellness, okay? Finding people in your life that are reliable will always have your back, right? We saw some hands up here before. We need this side of the room. I didn't want to say it.
Sharing happiness or sadness so they can be there for you, like she was saying.
So share your emotions. Have someone that your friends are there so you can share the good times and the bad times, right? That's what real friends are there for, right? They're not just your fair weathered friends, hey, I'm only here when you're doing good, right?
See, I really don't know if it's actually, I don't have friends, but for example, I have coworkers that we worked for 30 years together. We're friends, but at the same time, if it wasn't for work, we wouldn't know each other.
Right.
So then I have those special friends, older, but as far as like here, brothers and sisters, we have a connection, but I also feel more like family. Like here we're family, but then we all go in our own way after church, and we all have our responsibilities, our families. So I think it's different for each, depending on the contact that we have with one another.
Right.
Like I said, personally, if I was to say outside of work, and besides here, I really don't have any friends that I go and go go to the movies or have anything.
You have 12-hour days, remember? You're going back and forth to work. But you're talking about coworkers. Imagine if you and your coworkers didn't get along. How horrible would that be at work? But I'm assuming that you and your coworkers for 30 years, there might have been issues along the way, but you guys generally get along. It's nice to have coworkers, even though when you leave work, they go home, you go home, but because you spend most of your time at work, so you want to be with people that that you can associate with on a good basis, right? Yeah.
Along the lines of friendship, too, a very good friend of mine told me something that I've never forgotten, because I've been disappointed by a lot of people that I thought were my friends, and then they drift away, or they don't keep in touch, and you just kind of wonder, well, what happened?
Right.
And he said this: you don't lose your friends, you just find out who the real ones are.
Yeah. And that's, you thought you had a friend for 30 years, and all of a sudden something happens, and right. All right, last question for social wellness. Has anyone recently made a new friend? And if so, where did you guys meet? Have you made a new friend lately? And where did you meet?
Here. Yes, I've made a new friend, and it's the members that's here at the church. I'm still being taught how to. Oh, I'm still learning how to say Seventh Day.
Seventh Day Adventist.
Seventh-day Adventist.
With the emphasis on the first syllable rather than the second.
So is it Adventist, or?
No, the first. The former.
Adventist, right. Someone told me today.
Like to say advertising.
Right.
Not advertising.
Correct.
But
Advertising.
It's like Gurinder. It's
Advents.
Gurinder, not
Advents.
Gurinder. It's Gurinder, right?
Okay.
Right.
But I've met friends here, and everyone has been very kind.
One more answer up here. Then we're going to move on to the
I've
next.
made 6 new friends when we moved in here, mostly Filipinos, and I sense that they're new in town and they're lowly like when I came here.
Right. So then you already know what they're going through, so you could kind of be like their sister, right?
I just thought of this as a cute thing that we do. I work for the school district, and when we're teaching the kids how to spell the word friend, we tell them, you fried your friend, and that's the end of the relationship. So fry and end.
All right, let's move on to our next component, spiritual and emotional wellness, okay? And that usually entails what's your purpose in life, right? What are you here for? You know, do you know why you're here, right? So what gives you a sense of purpose or meaning in your life? And then how do you connect with your inner self or a higher power? How do you connect with God? And then how do you realize what your purpose is?
As I was sharing that I have a long commute every day, and thanks to technology, I mean, I get a lot of spiritual feed from YouTube, from preachers that I like, Bachelor, I mean, Finley. So I listen to a lot of spirituality as I go back and forth. I also listen to news or what interests me. But that's my, the big question, what are we here? Why are we here? Why were we created?
Right.
And I've been blessed with a big family. And whenever we get together and try to help each other, not only spiritually wise, but whenever there's any need from the family. So it's the purpose. I'll just share a little story with you. Back over 30 years ago, when we were at the church in Victorville, we had a little church, and I remember, as I started going to that church, when we first moved up here, they found out I used to have a flower shop, so they found out that I knew how to make flower arrangements. So then somebody involved me in making arrangements for the church every Sabbath.
Yes.
So I go, maybe this is my purpose in life. God wanted me to make flowers for
Right,
him.
right.
So this was back 30 years ago. So then as I've been grown in the church with different gifts that I didn't think I had, when all of a sudden somebody wants me to help, in any area, and here to serve, but it's just the connection with what's our purpose here and where I found my purpose in different areas through my journey with my spiritual walk.
So that's a great response, because he keeps his spiritual connection every day. He just doesn't wait till Saturday or the Sabbath. He, on his way to work, on his way back, he's listening to spiritual talks. When he gets together with his family, spirituality plays a huge role in that. So that, for him, that works great. So we can all learn from that. It's not just a one-day thing where the spirituality comes into your life. Have it throughout the week. Someone else, do they want to share? How do you connect with God or a higher being? And how does that impact your purpose in life?
There is no higher being than God in the universe, so I simply love to, my best time is in the morning or any time to read and read. I'm reading Bible now for second time this year. Hope I'll finish soon again. Every time I find something different, and what I'm fascinated now is about, since I'm a lifestyle coach, I love natural remedies, and I like our book and Principles on Health from Ministry of Healing. Incorporated that in my life because I can't say anything to anyone unless I'm living it, and I love it. So what I'm doing is I'm finding in Scripture all these plants, all these names of the figs and nuts and oils and all kinds of things that I never noticed before. I just read it, ran over it, and underlined something else. But now I'm specifically focusing, and I see everywhere. God is so particular. He even gave an instruction what kind of, but underwear priests gonna wear from linen. So that means linen is better than anything else out there. So you see, I notice all these things. The God is so, He gives you the best design, best formula, what is the healthiest and best. Right. Yes, there are good things, there are better things, but now I'm focusing on the best.
Very nice.
And spending a lot of time in reading scripture, that gives me mental boost, spirit boost, mood boost,
Right.
physical boost,
Yes.
to do everything
So
best
your
that
overall
day.
wellness strategies are working great.
I just love it. I love it.
Very nice. So, as we get older, we have friends, we have family members that are going to pass away, right?
The best underwear are fruit of the loom known as fig leaves.
Oh. So, what are some of your strategies that have helped you when someone has passed away in your life? You know, earlier we were saying we think the positive, right? You know, if we're going to think the negative, why him or why her, it's just going to, the mood when you guys are together is just going to go down, right? What are some of the things that you have done to help you cope when someone in your family or your loved ones or your friends have passed away? What's a way that you've used to cope with that?
Think about the good moments and that we are going to be reunited one day.
Thanks to technology also. I mean, my mother passed away a couple months ago. And my daughter made her a video of her life, and she posted it on her feed, so I see it. Time had passed, you know, weeks or maybe a month that I really hadn't seen that. I saw it at the service, and but then being busy, I really didn't pay attention to it. So then when I had the time to watch it, it brought smiles to my face, it brought tears to my eyes. I think that just remembering them, her mother passed away like more than 20 years ago. And just the memory of her, the way she was with us and with our kids, just keeping their memory alive the way they were, it helps me cope with the loss, especially mine is kind of fresh. So, there's bad there's a lot of bad in the internet, but there's also good. We need to focus on the good.
Correct. Yeah, focus on the good, focus on the positive. Mm-hmm. Focus on what they brought to your life, right? Different ways to cope with grief and loss.
I use loss as a reminder of the brevity of life. And we often say, live every day as if it were your last. But how many of us consciously do that,
Nobody.
And so that's a real stark reminder, sobering reminder of just how short, life is. And so what I do is I use that to motivate me to try to get more out of each day, to not procrastinate, on the important things that I really should do. And I use that kind of as just a way to say, yes, Lord, I know that any day could be my last, but may I try to live it in a way that pleases you today.
Very nice. One of the ways, as the gentleman was saying, is to think of the good memories, right? What's a memory that someone has that's helped them cope with grief or loss, and they would like to share that? And it doesn't have to be a death. It could be any type of grief that you were going through, but you remembered something good, and it helped you get through it. Does anybody like to share? Yeah, okay. So I'll rephrase it. We all have grief, right? Doesn't have to be a death. We all go through some hard times. What is a memory that helped you be like, okay, for example, I'm going through a hard time, but you know what? I remember me and my friends went on vacation last year and we had so much fun. We did this, that, and that. Now I forgot about what I was feeling bad about, right? So what's something a memory that you guys use? Is there a continuous, memory or moment in life that you like to bring back in when you're going through a hard time? Here we go.
When I look at my answered prayer list, I forgot the question though.
So when you
my answered prayer list, I look over that.
Okay.
All the answered prayers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember when we had really hard times financially. I mean, where we had a broken car, where I had to use the Metrolink to get to work, and then from up here, having my wife drive me down to Cucamonga. Example, I will never forget 9/11, because that's one day that I went on the bus to Cucamonga and then the metro to work in Glendale. So it just, as time goes by, you remember, how hard it's been, and then how things have turned around as time progresses.
Right.
I mean, it's not like we're walking on a bed of roses, but we're comfortable. We have a place, we have moving vehicles, so it's like just remembering the hard times as you live them, where you can look back at them and just thank God for what you have.
That's a great perspective. He's looking back, his memory is of a hard time that said, we survived that hard time and look at us where we're at right now. So it's not always a memory, I went on vacation with my friends, but that's a great response where, we all go through hard times, right? All right, next topic, purpose and community engagement, okay? Helping others. Have you ever volunteered for a cause you believed in, and what was that experience like?
I volunteered in a food bank, and I realized there are so many people that are coming, and I just feel good doing that, serving.
Yes. Service, right? Service. Yeah, it's called food insecurity. At all schools, even Loma Linda University, students have food insecurity. They don't know where their meals are coming from. Families don't know where their meals are coming from. And so when you work at a food bank, you kind of actually opens your eyes. Wow, there's look at all of this food, but it doesn't just stay here. People come, they need the food, and it's just eye-opening.
As someone gets older than me, you can help them in just a little thing, maybe insignificant for you. It could mean so much to them.
Right.
So yeah, helping the elderly has been my thing.
You don't even have to. You don't even have to volunteer specifically at a place. Like she was saying, she knows that maybe she has some friends or family that are elderly. Something little for her, like, hey, you know what? I'm going to get your groceries today. That way, they don't have to drive to Stater Brothers to get their groceries or worry, I'm not feeling good. Just bring something like bringing groceries to their house. Little things for you might be huge things for someone else, right?
Mm-hmm. Amen.
What's a community group or club you've always been interested in joining? And did you join it, or are you still thinking about joining it? Something in the community you wanted to do or join, or club or an organization?
Actually, I'm going to answer for her and me. We join a garden club.
Okay.
Yes, and we meet people there. We new friends and learn new things and share our passion for nature and everything God gives us best.
So from that one organization you joined, the Garden Club, they've worked on their community wellness, physical wellness, their social wellness, and it's just...
We bring plants for exchange, and sale, and a fundraiser, and all kinds of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody wanted to join something, but they still haven't because they're still thinking about it? They're nervous, they're scared, they don't feel like they have the time. Okay.
I always wanted to join a garden club, but we don't have one in Hesperia. So like yours is out.
You have two
There's
people
one
right here. You have two people.
Where is it? I didn't know that.
See, look, this whole talk was meant for you today.
Yeah, perfect,
For finding
amazing.
this garden club, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
so what's a skill that you have, right? And it could be any skill that you would love to share with others. You would love to share with the younger population, you know? Having connections with the younger population is great too. Are you good at math? You know, kids always need help in algebra. Kids always need help in science or English. Are you willing to be a mentor?
It's not a younger generation. It's an older lady from the Philippines. She doesn't speak English, and she's taking care of her American-born girl children. So I'm teaching her the basic things. What do you need? Let's eat. What do you like to eat? Something like that. Go
Very
to
nice.
sleep. It's late.
Yes. So you're helping the older individual learn English to communicate with her grandkids. So then she feels more involved, right? That helps with her wellness. Because imagine if no one was helping her. She's going to sit there. The grandkids are going to sit there. There's no communication. She's going to get depressed. The grandkids are not even going to know her grandmother anymore, right? So it's a big cycle. The roly-poly again, right?
It has been said that the tradesmen are dying. We're just going out of style. So I did a job for one of the local football coaches for the Hesperia High School, and I said in the past they have invited me to come and do demonstrations on masonry years back. So I asked them, if you like, I'd be happy to volunteer my time to come and do some demonstrations, but has never been any response. This is the basic thing that I do. That stuff is what I work on.
Very nice.
What's behind you.
Yes. So you're always willing to teach others. What's something that you've learned from somebody who's younger? And I have an easy answer on that one, but I won't share it. Okay, I'll share it. My students come straight out of high school. They come to Loma Linda University, right? They teach me so much about the new technology, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's huge because they're born with it, and you know they know iPads and laptops so much more than where we're at right now, right? And by the time they're 8, they know how to do everything. So by the time they get to high school and college, you know, they're the experts. Exactly. Okay, last topic before we conclude. Nutrition. Nutrition is huge when you get older, right? Yes. It's a technical term is sarcopenia. You lose muscle when you get older, okay? So you should work out. You should exercise to help with the muscle. You should also make sure you get protein in your diet, okay? You know, there's tofu is a great source of protein. Beans are a great source of protein. If you don't eat meat, you know, though there's a lot of vegetarian sources that you can have for protein, okay? Mm-hmm. So don't just assume that you don't need protein in your life. You need, because you still need to be strong when you get older. You still want to play with your grandkids. You still want to be able to walk down the stairs. You don't want to have the fear of falling every time you move around in your house, right? You don't want to sell your house just to get a one-floor house like she was saying earlier, right? Mm-hmm. Right. So, as for, what's a healthy snack that you guys like to eat? Really? Carrots? 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 All right, carrots. Okay, we got carrots. At least no one said broccoli, all right?
Peanuts.
Peanuts, yes.
Cucumbers.
Cucumbers, yes.
Peanut butter and crackers.
Oh, I love peanut butter and crackers. Crackers and cheese are good too, right? Yes, but peanut butter is great.
Why don't we give a shout out to what people like to eat when they're needing something?
I'm going with pizza, but that's all right.
Yeah, pizza.
How do you make sure you get enough protein in your diet? Are you conscious about it, or you just eat what you want to eat? If it happens, it happens. Are you being conscious or no? Yes. One person said yes. Okay.
Wait, sir, just a second. I'll come to you.
I feel that I need to have at least 2 pieces of fruit every day.
Okay.
I mean, I feel that if like last week as an example, a few days went out when I didn't have any bananas. I was missing bananas.
Right.
So, but apple a day. So I feel like I usually have 3 orange, apple, banana. So I think that personally, I have to have fruit. So
once again, I could say one of the biggest themes about today's talk is to think ahead and be proactive. No matter what are the topics we've gone over, he's already thinking ahead, like he wants to have 2 servings of fruit a day. And when he doesn't get it, he misses it. He misses his bananas. But just knowing in advance, hey, you know what? I might need to get to the grocery store to make sure I have enough fruit for the next couple of days.
No, I'm done.
You good? It's done.
Okay, go ahead.
There was a point in time where I think I was eating too much protein because I was really into I still like weightlifting, but not as much anymore.
Right.
But I was like making sure I had like 30 or 20 grams after every gym session. And so anyways, but now what I do is that I like split my plate in half and there's like veggies on one side and then like some carbs. And then I make sure that I put like some proteins in there. So I think of it like that. I kind of just, instead of like taking too much protein shakes and things like that.
Right. Okay, so about nutrition, what's some of the barriers you guys have to eating healthy? I mean, for me, it's like, I like the taste of food. You know, I hate vegetables. I hate broccoli, carrots. Unless it's cooked in the air fryer, so it's crispy, looks great. Oh my God, you're killing me. You're killing me. Right. So, but I mean, nobody's perfect, I'm being honest with you guys, right?
Yeah.
I like rice, I like bread and tortillas and, right. But what are some barriers that you guys have for healthy?
It's not a barrier, it's about food. I've been listening to Dr. William Lee, the best author of Eat to Beat Disease, and I'm learning from him the combinations of food and what should avoid and what should I take.
So you have somebody that you can read about, and then they help you with your staying healthy. Okay.
One of the barriers sometimes is time.
Time.
You're so busy, and then it's just like, let's eat whatever.
Let's go through the drive-through.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes, yeah, but I know you're saying no, but the rest of the world feels time. You know, they have a family. It's, you know, the cost, you know, going to the grocery store and buying healthy food versus $20 could feed a family of 4 from McDonald's, you know, or fast food. You know, sometimes it's the cost and the time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, if I don't like prepare the food the night before, then sometimes I just won't eat anything, or sometimes I'll eat everything, and then it's just So if I don't prepare, then it's not good.
So she's talking about meal prepping. A lot of people meal prep on Sunday for the week, or at least 4 days worth of food. You know, it's just, again, we go back to thinking ahead, being proactive. And then even technology on your phone, there's tracking software where you can take a picture of your phone or scan the barcode of your food. It tells you how many calories it has. It tells you how much protein it has, so you can track that. You know, again, talk to the younger people who you know in your life to help you with that kind of technology, or go to YouTube. There's so many YouTube videos on how to use your phone to track calories, okay?
My daughter has a menu, a weekly menu.
Oh,
so they can see what they're going to eat on Tuesday, Wednesday, and they prepare for it.
Right.
Yeah, but sometimes.
So, I mean, it's harder to go off track when you know that your meals are there and they're prepared versus, oh, what am I going to eat today? Whatever's quickest to get from outside, right?
I have 2 barriers. One is that I'm just weird when it comes to food. Basic things. What do you mean, yes? She just met me. Basic things that most people like, I just can't eat. I mean, I just don't like them. I just don't. I have about a handful of things that I eat over and over. It's very boring. The other barrier is eating out. We eat out a lot, And good luck trying to find, nutritious food selections when you're eating out. It's too bad Soup Plantation closed, because
Oh,
that
yeah.
was a good option, But short of that, it's really difficult. They tend to over season, over salt, over, huh?
And undersold now.
Really?
Yeah, I've noticed it.
Oh, okay. Well, usually, you go in there one way and you walk out and you're kind of dizzy because your blood pressure's gone up so high, because they've just really seasoned it to death, or they've just saturated with so much oil and stuff, you know what I mean? It's really hard to stick with a plan if you eat out. You have to really go out of your way, especially up here. We don't have a lot of good options for dining
I
out.
drove down that main street. All it was fast food.
I'm grateful to have a very smart wife, and that she's concerned for me more so than I am concerned for myself. But usually, by the time Sunday evening comes, I know what we're having for dinner all the way to Friday night.
Very nice.
So there's no second guessing. It's always planned out.
Okay, so I can't believe that's been almost an hour and a half. Barrier, you have a barrier.
For me, please don't misunderstand me, Adventist people. For me, biggest barrier week is on Sabbath. Why? Because today potluck was what, after 12 o'clock, right? And I eat only twice a day, around 10:30, 11, and 4, and nothing in between, only clean water. So on Sabbath, I'm overly hungry. So anytime we go, be a company or women's ministry or anything, I am eating like starving woman because that's too late for me to have breakfast at 12 o'clock. They're already having probably third meal or snack in between breakfast, and now they're eating normal. My barrier is scheduled when I go outside of my comfort zone, out of my oasis, out of my house. And I have to now readjust to eat when I'm not hungry, or not to eat until I am too hungry. So my barrier is basically schedule of, time.
Time,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
So we've gone over physical wellness, social wellness, nutrition, mental wellness, all the different aspects we went over today. So what is something that you've learned from each other? Because I didn't give you the answers. You guys gave each other the answers today, all right? What is something you've heard someone else say that you're going to try to incorporate to improve your wellness? Something maybe even the next week, or even in the next month, or in a situation that might arise in the future. Oh, I remember this from that talk because my friend at the church said this, so I'm going to try to incorporate that.
I know this sounds boring, but to get more sleep, I lack discipline when it comes to setting a schedule to go to bed. Seems like all the good stuff happens late at night. I don't know why. And so I kind of wait for it, and then it seems like, then I just come alive.
Right.
But I really do. This is something that I've needed to work on for a long, long time, and I'm sure that will help me in the mornings, because I'm not a morning person and I'm always rushing to do things, which I hate to do, but it's probably because I'm dragging, from not getting enough sleep. So that's something I really want to start doing.
Very cool.
Just plan, I think, for what Joe just said, plan for the weekly schedule when it comes to meals, and just plan better ahead. That way you don't just grab what's there. So I think that's helped me.
Being proactive, the big theme for today. What's something surprising you learned today that you might not have known before, a strategy, a wellness strategy? Or did you know these wellness strategies, but you just didn't implement them before? But now that you hear your friends implementing, that you're willing to try yourself?
Some of the mental health, you talked about the modern day technology. The kind of work that I do requires a lot of math, and I still prefer to do it by hand so I can keep my brain working.
Yes.
So that I have smart wife. I have 2 smart sons that know all about technology.
Right.
I'm lagging behind, kind of like Dana over here.
Right.
That, they know all about the technology, and if I need anything, they'll surely lead me in the way to get it or find it. But I'm lagging behind in order to try to stay active in the things that I do and keep my mental state at a better place, I think.
Mental state is huge. Yep. Keeping your brain active. Yes. All right, last question. Does anyone have a goal that they want to set? Learning these new strategies that you've learned from each other, is there any goal? Was it physical wellness? Do you have a goal on that? Social wellness, nutrition, mental and cognitive sleep, anything that you're thinking to yourself, all right, that's going to be my goal. This is what I'm going to try. All of the above. Great answer. All of the above.
I have a problem with keeping schedules, remembering things that I need to do. I have a day planner, yes. And I just, even if I wrote it down, I forget to check it.
Right.
It's like I spoke to someone today, Mariana, and I had said that I was supposed to do something Tuesday, and I didn't do it, but it was something to do with the church. And I still don't know what I did instead of. Yeah, but I don't remember what did I go to the doctor that day?
I went to the doctor last week.
Okay, so see, that was it.
So like the other people were saying, you could play different games, like going to the grocery store and not writing down the things. Yeah, so that way you're training your mind again, Start doing puzzles and, trivia and games, and that you have to keep your mind active. What do we say? You don't use it, you lose it, right? Right.
My goal is to join the gardening club.
There we go. Yeah, let's give her a hand. I'm going to let you guys check on her like in a few weeks. Did she actually join?
In my defense, Joe, Miss Dinosaur here.
Yeah. Did you say dinosaur?
Yeah, that's what he calls me.
Right.
Dana. In my defense, my old school thinking defense, I force myself to remember birthdays. I don't depend, like my husband, he's all into technology stuff. But I force myself to remember birthdays. I don't depend on, a device reminding me.
Right.
I have a phone book, an address book. I don't have to ever worry about, oh gosh, I lost my phone and that's my whole life, and now what do I do?
That's the rest of us.
I've got manual copies, hard copies of everything, and I remember birthdays like elephants, and I attribute that to, just making that part of my way of life.
Right.
Just forcing myself to remember things every, day, things that a lot of other people rely on a device to tell them and remind them about. I remember schedules.
So that's your strategy, your wellness strategy.
It works for me, so that's my defense.
Like how many of you know your friends' phone numbers? 3. Everyone else has it on their phone saved, right? Imagine we lose your phone. What's going to happen? And tell them, give us your phone list. Right, exactly.
How many of you remember your first telephone number?
As a kid growing up?
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Now, how many of you remember your security code for the most important thing in your life?
Social
You
Security?
do? Yeah, yeah. Okay. How many of you know your driver's license? How many of you know your husband's driver's license or your wife's? There you go. I do.
Good answer. All right, I want to thank everyone. I hope the strategies that you shared with each other. So again, today was more of me not giving you the answers for strategies. It's you guys sharing with each other your strategies and your examples of what has worked for you the barriers that you guys face and how you get through them. But I think this was a good way for you guys to share. And I think you got to learn from each other too. Oh, I didn't know that they did this, or I didn't know that they were going through the same issue that I'm going through. So it was a learning process too. I want to thank everyone, and then hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. Thank you. Thank you.
Amen. All right.
This off?
Okay, I have to. Okay, I'd like to thank Dr. Bains for an excellent presentation. And let's give him another big round of applause. Thank you. And I didn't get to put this inside the envelope because you kept me so busy. But there you go.
Oh, thank you so much.
God bless, and we hope to have you back
Yes,
again.
keep in touch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd like to tell you guys about the next presenter. Ooh. Okay. All right. And that's in October. And hold on. Okay. Trying to think of his name because I texted it to myself now. Hold on. Seth Wiafi. You guys may remember him. He was here not too long ago, and he did have a passion for gardening. He's not going to talk about gardening, but maybe another time he can bring some of his team up here. But his presentation is going to be Mental Health Matters, Caring for the Mind, Body, and Spirit. He will be doing the sermon and the afternoon presentation. Oh, wait. No, he's not the next one. Sorry. The next one is going to be on grief management. And that's in October. Yeah. Seth Wiafi is going to be in January. Sorry. Larry, what's the name of the guy that's doing it from University Church? Oh, see, Larry can't remember either. Wait. Yeah, anyway, it's going to be really good. My brain is drawing a blank because I got up the wrong one for the Adrian Presley. Adrian Presley will be doing his sermon is going to be more of a concert interspersed with really wonderful spiritual applications. And then in the afternoon, it will be on grief management. That is his thing that he does at University Church. He is the person who takes care of all the funerals, and and then he does grief management seminars. So we'll get one of the components. He'll try to kind of bring it all together for our session here. And I know a lot of people can benefit from that, even if you haven't lost a loved one currently. Everyone needs to know how to deal with stuff like that. That's in October. Yes. Okay, God bless, and have a wonderful week. And we'll see you back here in 1 month for Family Life Forum. If you have a request for a topic, let me know, and I'll try to find a speaker. Okay? Closing prayer? Okay. Let's bow our heads for prayer. We didn't have prayer yet. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this blessed Sabbath day. And I pray that you will just keep everybody safe as they go their separate ways. And bless us as we come back in another month for the forum, and help everyone to invite a friend. In Jesus' name, amen.